Hi, my name is Steve Vidal. I'm the Director of HR Operations for BGSF. In my first 2 years of employment at BG, my number one goal has been to improve our workers' compensation. From our overall annual cost to the amount of time that it takes for us to get the claim reported to our claims administrator, to getting our injured worker access to medical care as quickly as possible. That's our number one goal. There are a number of ways that we've accomplished this, one of which is through ClaimTrack, our proprietary internal reporting system that we use for the field employees to be able to report claims for injured workers as quickly as possible. One of the other things that we have done to improve our workers' compensation experience is hiring an outstanding workers' compensation specialist named Erica Sanchez. Erica?
Thank you, Steve. My name is Erica Sanchez. I am the Workers' Compensation Specialist for BGSF. I am the first point of contact when it comes to work-related injuries, and our mission is to provide fast and effective medical attention for our injured employees, and we're here to guide you through the workers' compensation process.
During this introductory training, we will introduce you to MedCore, our third-party medical triage service, and ClaimTrack, our internal proprietary workers' compensation incident input portal. We will conduct a brief overview of the workers' compensation procedure. What is and why do we use ClaimTrack? What is and why do we use MedCore? And how do we use MedCore? Before we introduce you to MedCore and ClaimTrack, let's first visit on why workers' compensation is important. Number one, it helps to control our insurance costs. It also provides lost wages and medical benefits to our employees if they're injured on the job. It helps to decrease BGSF's cost of an employee's medical expenses and lost wages following a workplace injury or illness. And workers' compensation helps get workers back onto the job as soon as possible. What is the ClaimTrack workers' compensation form? ClaimTrack is the insight-driven workflow solution used for documenting work-related injuries. It allows us, usually the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager, to input incidents and injuries into one portal so that our workers' compensation specialist can seamlessly report the claim to Gallagher Bassett, our third-party claims administrator. ClaimTrack offers us a smooth, seamless, and very cost-effective means of documenting our work-related incidents. Just moments ago, we mentioned our workers' compensation specialist. So let's take this moment to introduce you to your workers' compensation team. In addition to entering the incident into ClaimTrack, additional information, documentation, or anything related to the incident, including any text messages or photos or things of that sort, can be sent to the workers' compensation specialist. Her name is Erica Sanchez. If you recall, she introduced herself briefly at the beginning of this training video. It is Erica's responsibility to liaise between BGSF and the injured worker and our third-party claims administrator. She also may function as a liaison between the injured worker and MedCore. We'll get more into our relationship with MedCore in just a bit. The other member of your workers' compensation team is Steve Vidal. He's the Director of Human Resources. Among other things, workers' compensation falls under his purview at BGSF. Steve also introduced himself at the beginning of this training video. And while Erica is the primary contact for all things related to workers' compensation, Steve is certainly well-versed in all of the workers' compensation processes and procedures and can assist any time that Erica is unavailable. Both Erica and Steve's contact information are on the screen right now. What is MedCore? MedCore is a telephone triage service that provides health navigation to improve our incident outcomes. They have professional staff that uses evidence-based decision-making proprietary protocols and state-of-the-art systems to achieve sustained positive results. Oftentimes, injuries can be difficult to assess rapidly and accurately in the workplace. In some instances, minor cases can be overtreated, creating unnecessary cost and claims, and even worse, serious cases can be overlooked, leading to bad outcomes. The solution is using MedCore. They are a 24 hours a day, 7 days per week injury triage service that uses patented methods to ensure that injured employees receive the right level of care at the right place and in the right time frame. Let's take a few minutes to learn a little bit more about MedCore.
MedCore provides decision support and treatment to people at the time of injury or onset of symptoms. We do this with on-site clinics at large work sites and with telehealth for small work sites and mobile workers. We also provide safety staff for injury prevention and emergency response when needed. Our state-of-the-art systems determine the type of care needed and the urgency, guiding patients in self-care and obtaining further treatment as needed. Our patients benefit from improved access to care and better health outcomes. We help avoid unnecessary treatments and overprescribing while minimizing claims and reducing costs. MedCore operates without conflicts of interest. We avoid financial gain from referrals, prescriptions, and other activities so common in a claims-driven system. Our independence and transparency enable us to serve as true advocates for our patients and our clients.
Why did BGSF choose MedCore as our third-party triage service? MedCore uses live registered nurses available immediately, and they're just a phone call away. They can help reduce claims costs by recommending self-treatment when appropriate. Calls are recorded, and they provide translation assistance. Our workers' compensation specialist, Erica Sanchez, is also bilingual, so she can also provide translation assistance if she is the liaison between the injured worker and MedCore. And finally, MedCore offers customized reporting to our workers' compensation team based on the triage calls. How does MedCore work, and how do we use their service? After a workplace incident or injury, the affected worker should immediately report the incident to their immediate supervisor, usually the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager. At that point, the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager should immediately report the incident or the injury to Erica Sanchez, our workers' compensation specialist. If the injury is life-threatening, ensure that the employee or someone at the site has dialed 911. If emergency services are needed, the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager should contact the employee's emergency contact and advise them of the incident, briefly explaining the injury that was sustained and the medical facility that the employee is being transported to. If the incident or injury does not produce a life-threatening emergency, we should consider calling MedCore. Erica Sanchez will assist the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager in determining whether contacting MedCore is necessary. If contacting MedCore does become necessary, the registered nurse at MedCore will speak with our workers' compensation specialist as well as the injured worker. If Erica is unavailable, the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager should liaise between the injured worker and MedCore. Again, if a translator is required, MedCore provides this service at no additional charge. An injury assessment is performed by the registered nurse at MedCore, and then one of two things happens. Either the registered nurse at MedCore will recommend self-care and will give instructions to the employee on how to best care for their injury, and our hope is that this will result in getting the employee back to work as quickly as possible. Or, if the registered nurse determines that self-care might not be the best course of action, the nurse will refer the employee to the nearest appropriate medical facility so that they can receive the appropriate level of medical care to treat their injury, whether that be the emergency room, a clinic, or an appointment with a telemedicine physician. MedCore has refined their service to such a degree that it is a patented process. A digital recording of the entire call with the MedCore registered nurse will be produced, from which a detailed report will be generated and sent to the workers' compensation specialist and the director of human resources. While all of this is taking place, and if they have not already done so, the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager needs to complete the reporting of the work-related incident in ClaimTrack. All injuries must be notated in detail on ClaimTrack. If you do not have access to ClaimTrack, or if you do not have an access link to ClaimTrack, contact Erica Sanchez. She'll be happy to help you. Injuries must be reported to Erica Sanchez or Steve Vidal as soon as you're notified of an injury. This is of paramount importance. Assessing the situation and getting the employee access to medical care as quickly as possible is the most important consideration that we have in our entire workers' compensation process. I cannot possibly overstate this. Time is of the essence when we are dealing with a work-related injury. If the client is unaware of the incident, it must be reported immediately to the client by the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager. After seeing a medical provider, the injured worker should have a status form that will give us information on whether the employee is released to full duty or whether they are released to restricted duty. If the injured worker provides you a restricted duty or a modified duty work status report, the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager should contact the client to determine whether modified duty work is available. If modified duty work is available, either Erica Sanchez or Steve Vidal will complete a bona fide offer letter of employment and will forward that to the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager. If the client does not have restricted or modified duty work available, the employee will simply be off of work until such time that their injury is healed and the doctor releases them to full duty. While entering a report in ClaimTrack, please make sure that you have all of the information that's necessary to complete the form. If you're unsure of what is needed, Erica Sanchez will be happy to help you. Remember, when taking an order from a client, always confirm all job duties and list them in the order. The more details provided, the better chance we have of setting up our field talent for success, and it may help us to reduce work-related injuries. What is a bona fide offer letter? A bona fide offer letter is a letter from BGSF offering modified duty work to a field talent employee that takes into account their medical restrictions. As mentioned previously, either Erica Sanchez or Steve Vidal will produce this letter and send it to the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager when one is needed. When would this letter be used? When a field talent employee's job requirements need to be modified, or when the field talent must be offered restricted duty work. If the client has modified duty or restricted duty work available, BGSF will generate this bona fide offer letter that will eventually be given to the employee. Much like a regular offer letter, the bona fide offer letter will include the employee's name and address, job title, and job duties that feature the restrictions that the employee must observe. It will also include the location of the job, the schedule that the employee will be working, and the wages that the employee will be paid. It will provide a position description of physical restrictions and time requirement restrictions, if any, that the position will entail while the injured worker is on modified duty. The modified duty offer letter must be consistent with the doctor's certification and the employee's work abilities, and it will be communicated to the employee in writing. Please note, if an employee refuses to accept a restricted or modified duty offer or does not respond to the offer, our insurance carrier may reduce the workers' compensation indemnity benefits based on the refusal. However, the injured worker will still be entitled to medical benefits for reasonable and necessary medical treatment. Moreover, the injured worker will still have the right to request a benefit review conference relating to the bona fide offer letter. Frequently asked questions. Does the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager need to be on the phone with the field talent employee during a MedCore call? The answer is maybe. First, the field talent employee should call the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager to report the accident. Then the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager should advise the workers' compensation specialist of the injury. While on that call, it will be determined how or whether to proceed with the MedCore three-way call, typically involving MedCore and either the workers' compensation specialist or the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager, and then the third party on the call is the injured worker. The preference is that the workers' compensation specialist attend the MedCore call with the injured worker. What information does BGSF provide when contacting MedCore? The answer? MedCore will need the BGSF home office address, which is listed on your screen now. We will also need to ensure that MedCore's intake specialist knows that we're calling from BGSF. Please do not refer to us as BGRE or BG Real Estate or BG Multifamily or any other BG brand that we may have used previously. Our account with MedCore is set up under BGSF, so please use that anytime that you contact MedCore. What does MedCore provide to BGSF after the assessment? Well, the answer? The BGSF Workers' Compensation Team will receive a report from MedCore after the triage call that details the injury and the MedCore recommendations. Again, the report will be sent to Erica and Steve, it is unlikely that the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager would receive this report. Does BGSF provide our field talent with the MedCorps telephone number? The answer: the best practice is that the injured worker will first contact BGSF, and then a three-way triage call with the workers' compensation specialist, the injured worker, and MedCorps will be set up. The call is usually set up by the workers' compensation specialist. However, in certain instances, for example, if Erica is unavailable, the regional operations manager or the staffing coordinator may have to act as the liaison with MedCorps and our injured worker. But generally speaking, we like for Erica Sanchez, our workers' compensation specialist, to function in the liaison capacity. What if the field talent employee reports an accident that occurred on a prior date, for example, yesterday or the day before or last week or even last month? Well, the answer is we still must follow our incident report procedures. First, the BGSF representative, meaning the staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager, should connect with the workers' compensation specialist. If a referral to Concentra is needed or the closest urgent medical care facility, the workers' compensation specialist can provide that referral. The staffing coordinator or the regional operations manager must complete a first report of injury in ClaimTrack as soon as they're made aware of the injury, noting that the injury occurred on a prior date and has just been reported. Who is responsible for entering the first report of injury into ClaimTrack? The answer is that's typically determined by field operations. Generally speaking, either the regional operations manager or the staffing coordinator will enter the claim into ClaimTrack. When does the first report of injury need to be submitted? Immediately. Once an injury is reported by the employee, all details regarding the claim need to be entered into ClaimTrack, either by the regional operations manager or the staffing coordinator. Reports in ClaimTrack should occur the same day that they are reported by the injured worker. There should never be a delay of more than 24 hours. This is of critical importance as our insurance carrier grades us on how quickly we respond to our employee injuries. If our lag time is too long, our insurance carrier actually penalizes us financially for that. Is a site visit required after an injury is reported, and who is responsible for the visit? Yes, a site visit is usually required to gather additional details. The Director of Sales is responsible for completing the visit. Site visit details should be forwarded to Erica Sanchez and Gil Hernando. At what point of severity would an on-site investigation be required? The answer is whenever an incident requires immediate medical attention or if the accident is the result of an unsafe work environment. If you're unsure as to whether an on-site investigation should take place, please contact Gil Hernando. Who should receive supporting documents such as photographs, field talent incident reports, or medical invoices, or other information regarding a workers' compensation claim? The answer is that all documents related to a workers' compensation claim should be sent to Erica Sanchez. If Erica is out of the office or otherwise unavailable, please send the documents to Steve Vidal. Who is responsible to follow up on the claims process? Either the regional operations manager or the staffing coordinator are responsible to follow up. Stay in communication with Erica Sanchez or Steve Vidal to provide them with any information that they may request or need. Conversely, they will remain in contact with you to give you updates regarding the injured worker. What do I do after an accident victim sees a physician? The answer is, please send the workers' compensation work status report, which may include work restrictions and work status information, to Erica Sanchez. What if I receive documentation after a claim has been submitted? The answer is, again, please send all workers' compensation related documentation to Erica Sanchez. She will know exactly what to do with the documents. Important references. Any reference material that may be needed, such as access to ClaimTrack, Concentra Medical Center locations, an employee medical attention refusal form, or a workers' compensation checklist, can easily be provided to you by Erica Sanchez. She will be more than happy to assist you in getting access to all of the necessary reference materials. We hope that you found this training to be helpful and informative. If you have any questions about anything that's been covered in this training video, or if you have any questions in general with regard to workers' compensation, please contact Erica Sanchez or Steve Vidal. They will be very happy to assist you with any questions that you may have. Thank you, and have a great rest of the day.